The old house stood hunched on the hill like a withered crone, its black windows staring blankly into the perpetually twilight sky. They called it Blackwood Manor, and nobody dared to go near it. Locals whispered stories of a family driven mad by a malevolent presence, of shadows that moved on their own, and a chilling laughter that echoed on windless nights. I, of course, dismissed it all as folklore. I was a rational man, a paranormal investigator named Arthur. I needed proof, evidence. Blackwood Manor, with its reputation, was a challenge I couldn't resist. Equipped with my EMF reader, voice recorder, and a healthy dose of skepticism, I drove up the overgrown driveway on a particularly bleak October evening. The air was thick with the smell of damp earth and decaying leaves, a scent that clung to the throat like a shroud. The front door, a hulking monstrosity of darkened oak, creaked open with a sigh as I pushed. Inside, dust motes danced in the slivers of moonlight that pierced the grimy windows. The air was heavy, stagnant, and carried a distinct odor of mildew and something else, something indefinably rotten. My EMF reader immediately began to buzz erratically. I shrugged it off. Old wiring, I reasoned. I began my investigation in the grand foyer, my footsteps echoing in the unnerving silence. The house was remarkably preserved, though everything was covered in a thick layer of dust. Portraits of stern-faced individuals hung on the walls, their eyes seemingly following me as I moved. As I explored the drawing room, a bone-chilling draft snaked around my ankles. The temperature in the room plummeted. My EMF reader screamed, the needle vibrating wildly. I switched on my voice recorder. "Recording begins," I muttered, my voice trembling slightly. Drawing room. Significant EMF activity. Temperature drop, substantial. Suddenly, a floorboard creaked behind me. I whirled around, heart pounding, but there was nothing there. Just the oppressive silence and the feeling of being watched. I continued my exploration, moving deeper into the house. Each room was colder and more oppressive than the last. In the library, books lay scattered on the floor, their spines cracked and pages torn. I picked up a leather-bound volume, its title long since faded. As I opened it, a gust of wind slammed the window shut, shattering the glass. I jumped, my skin prickling with fear. This was no ordinary draft. I fumbled for my flashlight, the beam cutting through the darkness. As I shone it on the bookshelf, I saw something that made my blood run cold. Scratched into the wood, in crude, uneven letters, were the words, "Get out." I swallowed hard, telling myself it was vandalism. Just some kids messing around. But the feeling of dread intensified, pressing down on me like a physical weight. I decided to ascend to the upper floors. The grand staircase groaned under my weight as I climbed. The air grew colder still, and the EMF reader reached a deafening pitch. Upstairs, the bedrooms were eerily untouched. Clothes hung in wardrobes, beds were made, as if the occupants had simply vanished. In one room, a rocking chair sat by the window, swaying gently back and forth. There was no wind. I stood frozen, my flashlight beam trembling. The rocking chair continued to sway, its rhythmic creaking a macabre lullaby. Then, I heard it. A low, guttural chuckle, coming from the corner of the room. I spun around, my flashlight darting frantically. Nothing. Just shadows that seemed to writhe and twist in the darkness. The laughter came again, closer this time, a sound that scraped against my sanity. "Who's there?" I croaked, my voice barely a whisper. The laughter intensified, echoing through the house. And then, I saw it. A shape in the shadows, a dark, amorphous figure that seemed to coalesce from the darkness. It was tall and gaunt, with long, skeletal fingers that reached out towards me. Its eyes, two burning coals of red fire, pierced the darkness, locking onto mine. I stumbled backward, tripping over a loose rug. The figure moved closer, its laughter growing louder, more manic. I could feel its icy breath on my face, the stench of decay filling my nostrils. I screamed, a primal sound of pure terror. I scrambled to my feet and fled, stumbling down the stairs, the figure hot on my heels. The house seemed to come alive, the shadows swirling and twisting, reaching out to grab me. I burst through the front door and ran as fast as my legs could carry me, the laughter echoing behind me, chasing me into the darkness. I didn't stop running until I reached my car, fumbling for the keys with trembling hands. I didn't look back as I drove away, leaving Blackwood Manor shrouded in darkness. But I could still feel its presence, its cold, malevolent gaze following me. Back in my office, I listened to the recording I had made that night. For the first few minutes, it was just the sound of my footsteps and my voice. But then, the chilling laughter started. And then, a voice, a raspy, inhuman whisper, speaking my name. Arthur. I slammed the laptop shut, my heart pounding in my chest. I haven't slept properly since. I see the shadows, hear the laughter, feel the icy breath on my face. I know it's still out there, waiting. And I know, with a chilling certainty, that it will come for me. Blackwood Manor didn't just want me to leave. It wanted to keep a part of me. And it succeeded. The house hadn't just haunted its previous occupants. It was haunting me. And it would never let me go.